All right, I think we are live. We are live. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back into another episode 3 of Camden Chat, where we talk all things Orioles. You guys can hear me in the background. Let me turn that off. I'm working on intros to make this all a little bit more professional, but that comes in time. But welcome in, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Camden Chat, where we talk all things Orioles baseball. We'll talk some Major League stuff too, but we're primarily Orioles fans, as you can see. And we're going to be talking a lot of Orioles talk today. Every Monday, 6 p.m., we're right here, as long as, schedule and regular life provides. But we are back with another episode, and we got lots of news to talk about today. But before we do that, we'll do a little bit of housekeeping so we can get some things out of the way. I want to say hi to a couple people in the chat. Paul Engel's here. Jeannie is here. Jeff Snook is here. And Tina is here. Tina Marie's Place. What's up, Tina? Good to see you. And Melissa. Mouse Talk is here as well. That's my wife, for those that don't know. Anyway, a little bit of scheduling that I want to go over with everybody. Of course, again, we're right here every Monday, 6 p.m., talking Orioles talk and baseball talk. But starting tomorrow, every Tuesday and Wednesday, we'll be having videos at 9 a.m. where we're counting down our top 25 all-time Baltimore Orioles players. So starting tomorrow, there'll be a premiere tomorrow at 9 a.m. with number 25, and then Wednesday will be 24, and then next Tuesday 23, next Wednesday 22, on down, and so forth on down as I count down my list of my top 25 all-time Orioles players. And of course, every Thursday we do our normal Hall of Fame profile. So there'll be another Hall of Fame profile coming out. So for the next, several weeks for sure, next few months, we're going to have something Monday through Thursday for you guys. And of course, once the season starts, we'll be doing game-by-game reviews. Also, we're going to have a certain night of the week, a game night of the week, where we might call a game live. It's lots of content coming. It's going to be really, really awesome. I hope you guys can join us for that. It's going to be amazing. But yeah, that's kind of the schedule for this week. Today, of course, Camden Chat. Tomorrow, Orioles. Wednesday, Orioles. Thursday, Hall of Fame profile. So be sure to check all those out. Share them out. I think you guys will enjoy them. What I've really enjoyed so much about all of this, especially the profiles, I've talked about this in the past, is learning about players that I didn't know about in the past. I know that we know the guys that we grew up with, but, learning about guys from the early 1900s, late 1800s, guys I never got to see play and what they did as players to earn their spot in the Hall of Fame, it's been pretty interesting. And, of course, if you're an Orioles fan, I always love doing these top 10, top 20, top 25 countdowns of different things because they're so subjective. That my 25 could be somebody else's 25. So I hope you guys enjoy those videos. I really had a lot of fun putting them together. So there you go. That's this week's schedule. I hope you guys can join us for all that. I don't think I missed anyone else, but thank you all for being here. We are growing. We're now up to 135 subscribers, which is absolutely amazing. For just starting out. We're not even in baseball season, so to have that many subscribers already, I've been really, really honored and grateful for that. So thanks, gang. But I think that's everybody in the chat, and that's all the news I wanted to talk about. So let's get into our talk. And the first topic I want to talk about is spring training. So we talked last week. I had talked about how we had discussed how the Orioles hadn't, and none of the Major League Baseball teams had yet released their spring training dates of when pitchers and catchers would report first full squad workouts. Well, we finally got that. They actually did. I thought it was going to be on the 12th. It's actually going to be, I think, for the Orioles, pitchers and catchers report on the 14th to the 15th, and then the first full squad workout will be February 20th. So we're less than a month away now, and catchers and full squads will be reporting. Pitchers and catchers are going to be in camp. It's exciting times. Baseball is right around the corner. Football's coming to an end. Hockey and basketball, they're still going for a while. But football is coming to an end, and we're running right into baseball season. And now we finally have some dates. And what's really nice about these dates is I'm going to hope to get down there and see the Orioles as they're doing their spring training and their drills and the different things that they do during the day. Not just the games, just the drills. I enjoy that stuff. And I'll do my very best to try to take some video of that and bring that back and do some observations of things I see when I get down there. Mike Beachman, welcome in, bud. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for being here. But anyway, pitchers and catchers report. If you go to MLB.com, like for your team, I know the Orioles aren't everybody's team, but if you're looking for those dates for your team, if you go to MLB.com and you type in spring training report dates, they now have them for all the teams, so you can find out when your team is going to report. But most of them are going to be within that from the 14th to the 16th for pitchers and catchers, and then the 20th to the 21st for full squads. I can't speak for other teams. I know for the Orioles, every year it seems like more and more position players and pitchers get there way early. So even though like the Orioles aren't supposed to report until the 14th, 13th, some of them will get in 10 days early. So interesting, exciting times. Baseball's right around the corner. Jeremy Weingard. Is it Weingard or Wingard? Jeremy, welcome in. Good to see you here. Hope you're doing well. So there you go. Spring training right around the corner. I do know that the Orioles also announced single game tickets are going on sale. I think they're going on sale January 25th at 10 a.m. You guys can check my sources on that, but I'm pretty sure single game tickets for Orioles games January 25th, 10 a.m. for regular season. Now, I think tickets for spring training games are already on sale. I'm looking into getting them because my dad's coming down, so I'm going to take him to a spring training game. But regular season tickets on sale January 25th, 10 a.m. So get out there right away because you know how tickets go. They are going to go fast. I don't know, and if anybody in the chat can answer this, it's Weingard. Okay, gotcha. Thank you. Okay. I kind of said it right. 820 Chief, welcome in, Dan. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Lost my train of thought. I don't know. It's opening day. I don't know if opening day is part of the single game tickets that are going to be going on sale starting January 25th. They might be, and they probably are, but I can't say for sure. I've had always season tickets until I moved here. I had season tickets for over 20 years. So I always had the option as a season ticket holder to get opening day, but not as just single game tickets. So I can't say for sure if opening day will be included in that. It would not surprise me if it's not, but it could be. Yeah, Jeremy, I'll do the same thing. I did it last year twice. When the Orioles played Lakeland, they played the Tigers twice at the Lakeland Stadium, which is very close to where we are. I went twice last year. Nice stadium, beautiful stadium. I love it there. It's really nice. And both games were very enjoyable. David Stevens, welcome in, buddy. Another Maryland friend in the house. Good to have you here. So yeah, single game tickets go on sale January 25th. So that's good news. I always used to like letting people know that, friends of mine, for people that wanted certain games, because there are some really good games this year that are going to be home games that I think people might want to attend. Like I think the Cubs are in town this year, which I think is neat. I think the Dodgers come here, or did we go there last year? I don't remember. But there's a lot of different games that are a lot of different teams that are coming that are going to be fun. Victor, dude, never late. We literally just started 5 minutes ago, so good to have you here. Jeremy says, yep, Lakeland's nice. Closest spring location for me, less than an hour away. Yeah, that's it's actually less than 10 minutes away from me. It's really close. Love that stadium, too. They do a really nice job. And that's what I'm really excited about, going down to Ed Smith Stadium for the Orioles down in Sarasota. I haven't been there yet. This will be my first year of getting there. So it's going to be really exciting to see Ed Smith Stadium for sure. Me too, David. I'm a big Orioles fan. As you guys know, I'm not a Ravens fan. I've always been a Rams fan first. I was a Rams fan way before the Ravens even moved to town. So I've always been a Rams fan. And I just won't change my allegiance. But the Ravens are doing well. Yeah, it's very close. Jeremy says he's been to Ed Smith. Yeah, I haven't been down there yet. Looks beautiful. I know it's one of the jewels of the Orioles over the last few years that have really helped their progression to become such a better team and organization is the fact that they put the money into these types of things. They did it with the facility down in the Dominican. Of course, a few years back, they upgraded Ed Smith Stadium, put some money into that. It's been a plus. Yeah, I can't wait to see it. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait to see it. So, yeah, single game tickets January 25th, 10 a.m. Now, this next news I thought was really good news. Just found out today the Orioles signed CNL Perez. Now, of course, he was arbitration eligible. They hadn't come to an agreement. The Orioles came to an agreement. We talked about it last week with many different players, but we found out today that CNL did sign. They didn't give exact numbers. I think he was looking for 1.4. The Orioles were offering 1.1, and they came to an agreement. They didn't give actual numbers. But what they did say was the Orioles do have a club option for 2025. So technically, he could technically be signed for 2 years. If the Orioles pick up the option, if he has a good year and the Orioles pick up the option, he signed for next year already as well. So that's good news for CNL Perez and the Orioles. That's one less guy they have to worry about going to arbitration with. We talked about this last week with these arbitration guys. It's always good to try to get them signed if you can get them signed, because you really don't like to go to arbitration, because then that's when bad blood can happen. So they signed him. There's 4 guys left. Hayes, Colomb, O'Hearn, and Webb remain unsigned. I think we might get one go to arbitration, maybe one, but I don't think all of them will. I think the Orioles are probably going to sign 3 out of the 4 before the season starts. And the only one that really worries me when it comes to arbitration is Hayes, because I don't want the bad blood there. But all of them are ultimately going to sign, because that's what if they go to the table, if the Orioles lose or the players loses, they just lose. They're still signed and they still come. They're still part of the team. They're not released. So always remember that arbitration just means one or the other is going to win or lose, and it can cause bad blood. We've seen it. You hope not, but you never know. Dan said, I'd love to catch a Pirates spring training game in Bradenton. Yeah, you should. You should. Yep, the Ironbirds will be starting up too. Jeff says, looks like the NL West comes to Baltimore, Arizona, San Diego, San Francisco, but no Dodgers. Huh. Maybe the Dodgers were here. The Dodgers I think, might have been here last year. Now we're going out to L.A. Okay. But there's some good games right there. Arizona's really good. Obviously, they were in the World Series. San Diego's good. San Francisco's really good. So could be a good series. Any of them could be a good series to see. I love 1-year deals with a club option for a second. I just love those types of deals. Team friendly and gives team flexibility. Well, it is team friendly because ultimately, if the player bombs and doesn't do well, then you just don't re-sign him. But if he does, he's signed, and it's great. Yeah, see, I knew the Cubs come to town. The Cubs will be a good series to see. So there you go. So CNL Perez signed. 4 more guys to go. I think Jacob Webb will probably sign. I think O'Hearn will probably sign. I think Coulomb will probably sign. I think Hayes is going to be the only one. I hate it. Even though he's the one I don't want to go to arbitration, I think there's a good possibility he might go to arbitration because he had a phenomenal first half. He was an all-star, but he really, I don't want to say nosedived, but man, he really had another second year in a row where his second halves were not productive at all. So we'll see. No, I probably won't get up there, Victor. I don't know. I'm hoping to go up there with my family sometime this year. And if we're able to work it out where we can go to a game, that would be great. I mean, I've been to so many games, hundreds of games at Camden Yards in the past. I would like to get back up there, but living down here makes it a lot more difficult. But we'll see. So there you go. CNL Perez signs. I think that's great news. Now, this next one is actually really fun. Every year, the Orioles have their promotional schedule of the different things they're going to be giving out at games. I used to really look forward to this, and I always used to find the certain things on the schedule that I was like, oh my God, we got to get tickets for that game because I want that item that they're giving away to fans. So I wrote some down that I thought were either interesting or ones that could be fun or ones that I would really like to get if I was up there. So we'll kind of go over a few of these. Now, this isn't all the promotional schedule. And part of the promotional schedule with the Orioles, too, is Friday night fireworks. Kids run the bases. I think they have senior day, Pride night. They do all kinds of different promotions. But these are the ones that are actual items that you could get, most of the time it's first 15,000 fans, 15 years and older, or first 20,000 fans, 15 years and older will get these items. But I'll go over a few of them. I even have the dates and the teams they're playing. So one of the first ones was the Brandon Hyde Manager of the Year bobble. That'll be April 27th against the A's. They also have a Mr. Splash bobblehead May 10th against the Diamondbacks. So that's kind of cool. So you get to see the Diamondbacks, and you can get a Mr. Splash bobblehead. They also have this is one of the ones I would like to get, is an Orioles 70th anniversary replica jersey. That's going to be May 17th against the Mariners. I would really like to get that. That sounds like it could be a real nice one. Mini bat and banner day. Yeah, I remember that. Orioles used to do the mini bat thing. I don't think they do that anymore, though. Let's see. Who else? They have an O's hot dog race T-shirt. That will be May 27th against the Red Sox. And I think you get to choose between mustard, ketchup, and relish. I don't know that you get all three of them. It wasn't real specific, but they do have all three of them, mustard, ketchup, or relish. And you might be able to pick maybe. I don't know. I'm sure we'll get more details on that. They also have a Anthony Santander walk-off bobblehead June 1st against the Rays. A City Connect Hawaiian shirt on June 29th against the Rangers. I wasn't a real big fan of the City Connect uniforms for the Orioles. Some of these other teams, I did like their stuff, but I didn't like the ones for the Orioles. Now, I don't know what the City Connect Hawaiian jersey shirt's going to look like. We'll see. I'm holding out hope for that. They also have the beach towel, which is a big one for us. I used to love going. We used to go every year for beach towel night. That's July 9th against the Cubs. They also have a City Connect reversible floppy hat, July 26th against the Padres, and a Dell switch hitter bobblehead. I probably did that wrong. It's not a Dell. I probably did that wrong. But another bobblehead, July 28th against the Padres. It's an Adley Rutschman switch hitter bobblehead on July 28th against the Padres. Auto Connect put Adele instead of Adley. That's so funny. Gunnar Henderson bobblehead August 23rd against the Astros. An O's soccer jersey August 24th against the Astros. So back-to-back nights. Bobblehead soccer jersey August 23rd, August 24th. That's pretty cool. O's t-shirt hoodie September 2nd against the White Sox. And O's football jersey September 7th against the Rays. Those are just some of the ones that I saw that I thought were really cool, and that if I was like, hey, Pete, if you're going to the game, pick me one up. So let me know in the chat what you guys think. But those are some really cool ones for sure. But that's it on the promotional things. I did want to get into this next subject because this next topic is one that I don't think most people realize the significance or possible significance of this. So, for the first time in history, since the minor leagues and your prospects have been ranked, Baseball America, this, that, and the other, for the first time in history, a team has three-peated with the number one going into the season with the number one overall prospect, and that's the Orioles. They're the first team in history to have done it 3 years in a row. They make history becoming the first team in the Baseball America top 100 with 3 straight 100 prospects. Adley Rutschman, and then they followed it up with Gunnar Henderson, and then they followed it up with Jackson Holliday. But here's the thing that's going to make this even better. They could four-peat. It could be 4 in a row. And anybody in the chat, if you know who I'm talking about, it could be a 4 at a Del bobblehead. Oh, that's so funny. I know. I meant Adley. It's autocorrect. But the Orioles, it could be a 4-peat. And I don't know if anybody in the chat is following the Orioles minor league system, but there is a guy that has just skyrocketed to the front of the packs of Baseball America, this, that, and the other, of these prospect rankings. And I'll give anybody in the chat, if you know who I'm talking about, of who this player is that could possibly next year, not this year, but next year, be the consensus number one overall prospect in the game. Could. Does anybody want to take a guess of who you think it is? I'm curious if anybody in the chat knows. I'm going to go over it in a second, and I'm going to give you my reasoning behind why this person could be that next fourth number one. Sebastian Santos, Ryan Miner. Mike T, welcome in. God bless him. God rest his soul. Ryan Miner just passed away like last month or the month before. And of course, he's got, does anybody know the significance of Ryan Miner, what his claim to fame is? So there's two things you got to answer here for me. Hey, Debbie Bernfeld, welcome in. Nope, not Sebastian Santos. Yeah, Ryan Miner has something very significant. He has a claim to fame. But who is this fourth person, fourth minor league prospect that could be the next number one overall prospect in the Baseball America 100? You got it, Jeremy. Good job. Absolutely. This kid, and I'll go over. No, Mike, he's the guy that replaced Cal Ripken at third base. Yes, the catcher. You got it. Sam Pasala. But Ryan Miner's claim to fame is when Cal sat down after breaking the record, he didn't stop till 26. I think it was 2,632. But when Cal sat down and didn't play, his replacement at third base was Ryan Miner. But God rest his soul. He just passed away from cancer. I think it was last month. But yes, Samuel Basallo could be the consensus number one overall prospect in the Baseball America Top 100 next year. Just to give you an idea of what he is. Right now, he's top 10 in the top 100. Already, he's top 10. He's number 10. And he could vault to the top. This guy has incredible tools and really good power. He had 114 minor league games last year, and he hit .313 with 26 doubles, 7 triples, 20 home runs, 75 runs scored, and 86 RBIs. He had a 6-game stretch last year where he went 12 for 22 with 2 doubles, 6 homers, and 13 RBIs. This guy's got big power to all fields. And he struck out 19 times in 27 games at Aberdeen. He has an above-average walk rate and a below-average K rate. Again, this is a kid. He's like 19 years old, 19, 20 years old. He's going to get better with his strikeout rates. He'll learn, but he's already really, really good. He's going to be number one next year. That's my feeling. This kid has got really good power to all fields. He's not a pull hitter. He can drive the ball in the gaps. He's going to catch. Can he coexist with Adley Rutschman? People say, no, he can't. He's blocked. No, he's not blocked. Because for one, they can platoon. You can put him at DH. You can put him at first because he does play first base as well. Adley could play DH or he could go to first over time. They can coexist. Absolutely. So that's the guy, Samuel Basallo. I think you got to really pay attention to him this year. Look, I know the Orioles have Jackson Holliday, Colton Cowser, Kobe Mayo, Connor Norby, Joey Ortiz, all these other minor leaguers that we're all looking at that we're like, wow, let's get them on the team. Jordan Westberg, who didn't get a full season yet. But don't forget this guy as well. Hey, Charlie and Stacy at Disney Nerd Herders, welcome in. Basallo is already top 10 in Baseball America's prospects, and I think he's number 4 for the Orioles. He's just vaulting to the top. Yeah, well, that's the thing. See, Jeremy, that's the thing. His numbers, he's dominating at these lower levels, and that's good. That's what you want to see. You want to see a little bit of a struggle because you want to see how he adapts to the struggles, because Jackson Holliday had a little bit of it when he got to AAA early, and then he just took off again. I like to see them struggle only because I want to see how they adapt to the struggle. Okay? How they adapt, how they change different things to get through whatever struggles they're having. Welcome in. G. Wilson's here. Welcome in. This forum is open to all baseball questions, Charlie. Yes. Speaking of which, guys, we do have our mailbag, which we're going to get into. I did get a question from somebody in the chat. We're going to go over that at the end. But if you do have questions, you can reach out. You can put it in the chat today. But if you have other questions, CamdenQuestions@gmail.com. Send them to me there. If I get them during the week, I'll check the mail. And then next week, I'll go over those questions with you. But yes, Charlie, you can definitely ask those questions today. For sure. Where were we? Right there. Anyway, Sam Basallo, this kid is really going to be good. I think he's I don't know. The Orioles just keep churning it out. We've got to give Mike Elias extreme credit and props. You know, he was executive of the year last year. He might win it again this year. We'll see. But he's doing such a great job. Him and his team to be able to identify talent and see it outside the first round has been just phenomenal. Yeah, it's a really good sign. You want your walk rates to be high and you want your K rates to be low, and he's already trending in those directions. So it's a good thing. Yeah, well, this is fun. Yeah, she sent the question about the dog. So Victor says, my friend's son just signed with the Canes. He's a lefty that's throwing in the 90s and is pretty high on that list already, being approached by a lot of clubs. Well, that's good. That's awesome, Victor. Good for him. What I'll say about that is, you know, that's great. I hope he signs. And then, you know, it's one thing to sign. There's a lot of guys that get lost in the minors. So God bless him. We'll say a prayer for him. I hope he gets it. I hope he makes it. That would be amazing to have a friend who makes it to the majors. That's good luck to him. I hope he does well. Ray J, welcome in. What's up, Ray J? Welcome in. Good to have you here. Who is on your ballot for tomorrow? Well, you know what, Mike? I don't really want to say. I have a video that I did of who I think is getting in. If you look on the channel, I did one a couple weeks back. It's actually doing really well. It's getting a lot of hits of who I think is going to make it into the Hall of Fame. I had 3 guys that I said are going to get in tomorrow. 3. And I had a couple that are going to get close, but I had 3 guys that are going to make it tomorrow. I'm not going to say on here, go watch the video. It's my way of getting some clicks. But yeah, I think 3 people are going to get in tomorrow. I really do. Yes, our dog's name is Camden, for those who don't know. That's why she said that. So Charlie says, I'm interested in knowing when were the Orioles established? Were they part of the league since opening? How old is Camden Yards compared to Fenway? Well, the Orioles, I think their first season was 54. They were the St. Louis Browns, and then the Browns moved to Baltimore. I think it was 54, 53. I don't remember. Somebody can tell me in the chat. I should know this, but it was early 50s. They came over. They were the St. Louis Browns, and they changed to the Orioles. And Camden Yards has been there since 92, I think it was, 91, 92. So it's a lot younger compared to Fenway. Hope that helps. Chris is here. Hey, guys, sorry, just eating dinner, checking in. I'll check it, replay later. Yeah, no problem, Chris. Yeah, 54. Okay, yeah, so that's what I thought. So 54 was when they established. And, they've been in the World Series 6 times. They're 3-3 in the World Series. Really, to be honest with you, they should be 6-0 in the World Series. The 3 times they lost in the World Series, they lost in a Game 7. 71, they lost in a Game 7. 79, they lost in a Game 7. And 69, I think against the Mets was a Game 7 as well. That's right. Yeah, because the Cleveland Browns came too. Anyway, so Samuel Basallo, keep the name in the back of your mind. Watch him in the minors this year. If you like watching, some people just like watching the major league team, and I get it. But if you watch this kid, he could be a big, big force in Orioles history, coming up in the future, for sure. All right, so the next subject I want to talk about is this guy right here. So I want to talk about Kobe Mayo. Yeah, Jeremy, me too, to be honest with you. It was my first memory too, and it wasn't a good one. Meet Mike Timlin tomorrow night. Any questions you think I should ask? Timlin played for the Orioles for a little while. I don't know. I can't think of any, but that's pretty awesome right there. Mike Timlin, for real? Wait a minute, Mike T, are you Mike Timlin? I'm just kidding. Anyway, I want to go back to Kobe Mayo. So I want to talk a little bit about Kobe Mayo. So look, everybody's back and forth about all these different prospects that the Orioles have. Some of them have graduated to the major league. Some of them have come up and, kind of had some failures, so to speak, not done well, not successful, had to go back down. Grayson did it last year for a little while. He came back up. He found his groove. His second half was phenomenal. Colton Cowser came up for a little while. He didn't do as well. They sent him back down. I still think Cowser makes the opening day roster, and I think he's going to get a lot of at-bats this year. Gunnar, his April was terrible. He had a bad April, but they stuck with him, and you saw what happened. He won Rookie of the Year. But I want to talk about Coby Mayo because I think he gets lost in the shuffle because everybody's talking about Jackson Holliday. Jackson Holliday, who I think, again, we'll have some preseason predictions of kind of my bold predictions coming up in the next week or so. But I think Coby Mayo is a guy that's really going to have to start being a factor for the Orioles of a decision of what they're going to do with him. I want to go over this with you in a second here. I'm going to pull up his numbers in just a second. So he's a third baseman or first baseman, primarily probably third. And he's 22 years old. He's a right-handed hitter. He's a right-handed, he throws and bats right-handed. And I think that's important because the Orioles are loaded on the left side They just are. Adley's a switch hitter, so he bats from the left side or right. Santander is a switch hitter. He bats from both sides. Cedric Mullins is left-handed. Gunnar Henderson is left-handed. Jackson Holliday is left-handed if he makes the team. Colton Cowser is left-handed if he makes the team. They have a lot of left-handed hitters on this club. He helps to balance by being a right-handed hitter. I like the idea of him being on this team, and his raw power is incredible. Kid's like 6'5", 250 pounds, and I don't know. I think he could be amazing with the Orioles this year. I really do. I'm not saying he's not going to struggle. I think they all struggle to an extent, but this kid is the number 4 Orioles prospect out there. He's number 27 in the Baseball America Top 100. So he's highly regarded, not just locally, but nationally. I mean, he had last year at AAA now. This is AAA. He batted .290. He had 29 home runs, 99 RBIs, and a .973 OPS at AAA. He has nothing left to prove at AAA. Really, him, Colton Cowser, a lot of these guys, they have nothing left to prove. They are raking at AAA. There is nothing higher than AAA other than the major leagues. The Orioles have to find a way to make room for this kid. How do you do that? I hate to say it. Ramon Urias, Jorge Mateo. I know the Orioles have signed these guys, but that doesn't mean that they automatically make the team. I think they're not going to make the team. I understand we want to win, and you can't have too many rookies on the team if you want to win, but the talent is there. The talent speaks for itself. And at some point, you're going to have to start infusing these guys into this lineup because they're never going to get the experience until they get the experience. It's just that simple. And the Orioles are expecting and are expected to be a contender for the foreseeable future. So when is the time ever going to be right? You can't say, well, we're in a pennant race or we're looking to win. We can't bring him up. You're looking to win for the next 5 to 10 years because of the talent that you've accumulated and drafted and developed. So at some point, these guys have got to graduate or you've got to move them. You can't hoard these guys forever. They've got to be moved. It's not fair to them. Now, I get it. Look, it's a business. But I think this kid needs to be given a shot this year. I want to know what you guys think in the chat. But that's just my opinion. I think this kid has earned his right to at least get a look. Now, he's going to get a look in spring training. But spring training can be fickle. You'll see a lot in spring training that you don't see in the regular season. But if he gets a real good look in spring training and he does well, he's got to be called up this year. I think by the end of April, he's got to be given a shot, especially if he goes down and he's raking like crazy. Jeremy says, one thing interesting about Coby Mayo is how much he improved his walk rate in 2023 compared to 2022. K rate improved slightly too. Thing is, where do you put him? Someone would have to go. And then that's why I said that. I agree. Someone does have to go. Ramon Urias, Jorge Mateo, they can go. You can do a rotation of all these guys. I know that they want to put Jordan Westburg at third and Gunnar at third, but Gunnar can go to short for a little while. Westburg can go to second. Kobe can go to third. Kobe Mayo can go to first. Put Ryan Mountcastle at DH. It's a good problem to have this much talent, and that you need to find places for them. You're right. Somebody has to go. And look, injuries, God forbid, but injuries may answer a lot of these questions. If we lose somebody, I hope not, but if we lose somebody to injury, that answers the question. That fills the void. It's not Insanity tonight. Although, what's today? Yeah, today's Monday. Usually Insanity is on Tuesdays. But that's just my personal opinion. Yeah, I saw he was a piece of the proposed cease trade. Yeah, and I get that, because if I am the White Sox, I want this kid. He's got a high K rate, but he's a home run hitter. That's what he's going to do. He's going to hit home runs. I'm not expecting him to hit 320. If he hits 270 and hits 30 home runs on a regular basis, that's all I want. That's what I'm asking of. And play a good defense. That's it. So I'd love to see what he can do in an O's uniform. He's still only what? Yeah, he's 22 years old. I mean, he's still a kid. That's the other thing, too. We're not talking like this is a kid that's 27, 28, getting into his prime and past it at this point. It's another one of the things that is really a big benefit to the Orioles this year and for the future is a lot of these guys. I mean, even Adley, I think, is 24, 25, I think at most. Still very young. G. Wilson said, I believe I will still have MLB TV this season, and since BLT is out of my area, I will definitely watch the games. Yeah, Baltimore. Well, yeah, that's the thing, G. Wilson. They're out of my area down here as well, so I get to watch most of the games, except when they play Miami and Tampa. Then I have to go get the Bally Sports, but that's okay. Yeah, I think they're going to be good this year. There's no reason why they shouldn't be. That the talent is there for them to be special again this season. You know what that means? I don't know. I'm going to talk about my bold predictions in the future. But this team should be really, really good. And I think this kid, Kobe Mayo, he's got to find – I'm sorry, they got to find a place for him. I think they got to find a place for Joey Ortiz too. At some point, some of these guys got to graduate. Yeah, Jeff, I don't agree with that. I totally disagree with that. I'll never forget when they were interviewing Eddie Murray. And Eddie Murray was talking about his career. And you can look him up. And this is a home run hitter now. He's got over 500 home runs, 3,000 hits. I think he struck out over 100 times in his career. Once, maybe twice. He always said that I'm paid to hit. Not hit home runs, to hit. The home runs will come, but I'm paid to hit. And that's a mindset that we don't have in the game today. And I agree with you. Too many players today and organizations are okay with strikeouts. And I to this day, I never understand that. Nothing comes from strikeouts. Nothing good. Putting the ball in play, anything can happen. There can be an error. It can be a tweener. It could be an overthrow. It could be, they missed the ball in the sun. Anything can happen if you put the ball in play. If you strike out, nothing happens. Oops, sorry. I keep hitting this thing. So I don't understand the concept of today's baseball where they allow and say strikeouts are okay. That should never be the case. The O's have a terrific problem. Too many good prospects. That being said, not all prospects make it. Many bust. It's about figuring out which prospects trade away to improve. That's the hardest thing to do. Are you trading the right guys? Look, when the Orioles traded away Mike Boddicker, they got back who? Brady Anderson and Kurt Schilling. Worked out great. Okay. When the Orioles traded Eddie Murray, they got back Juan Bell and junk. So it's very volatile. It's hit or miss. Now, I just don't. I don't understand. I get it. It all started with the chicks dig the long ball. Whatever. That's fine. But guess what? You can't strike out. I never understand it. Need to keep getting the kids the experience in the majors so they get back. Yeah, exactly, Chris. Jeremy said, I always think back to the Miguel Cabrera trade when the Tigers made that move. Many thought they were nuts giving up Andrew Miller and Cameron Maybin for him. Right. Andrew Miller was a very good player. He was very, very good relief pitcher. Now, not Miguel Cabrera. He's a Hall of Famer. Maybin never did anything. Well, it's the key. It's the issue, Victor. There's nothing wrong with hitting home runs. Hit home runs. But you've got to make contact. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's at the time he was one of like 3 players to do it. Him, Aaron, and Mays. I'm with you, Walt. I hate strikeouts. The O's used to really tick me off because of how much they struck out. You can tell the philosophy has changed. Yeah, it's changed. Well, that's the other thing, too. Jeff, you make a good point. They don't manufacture runs the way they used to. It is a lost art. I think the Orioles got into that a little bit, though, last year. They tend to do that a little bit more. They get them on, get them over, get them in. They did that a little bit more last year. Yeah, that was a terrible trade, too. We traded away Pete Harnish. We traded away Harnish, Finley, and I think Schilling, right? Didn't he go there? Or I know it was Pete Harnish. It was Steve Finley, and somebody else went to Houston for Glenn Davis. Yeah, exactly. A lot of launch angle, not contact. It should be about contact first. Anyway. All right. So there you go. So I did want to go over one other thing. Again, guys, for next week's mailbag, if you have any questions that you want to pose to me, I'd love to answer them on our Camden Questions mailbag section, which is now where we're going into. This is the portion of the show where I answer your questions from the mailbag. And I did have one this week. And then I'll talk a little bit of Major League Baseball news, and then we'll go from there. So the mailbag was from Victor. I think Victor's in the chat. Victor asks, hey, Walt, if you had to choose one guy who would be that guy being a pitcher or slugger, who would you like to grab? Now, Victor, I want to ask this because you're in the chat. I need to kind of ask some additional questions to this. When you say that guy, who would you grab? First off, am I grabbing him as a free agent or am I trading for him? So I need to know that. Because I guess that's kind of the question I would ask. Because if I'm trading, all things being equal, who would I trade for? I think I would trade for a pitcher if I could. But again, the deal's got to be right. But if all things being equal and in a perfect world, who do you want? I think out of all of them, I would take a Corbin Burns for a pitcher. And if I could get a hitter, just a guy, again, that's why to trade, put you over the top. If I could get anybody to put me over the top, I'm probably going to take Acuna from the Braves. I can put him in the outfield, right? Isn't he an outfielder? Isn't that terrible? I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, I don't want Shohei. I'm sorry, I don't. Because he's limited. He can't play the field at all. He can't pitch. All he can do is DH. And I don't like to bog down my DH. I like the flexibility. I don't want Shohei. And I don't want the money I have to pay for him. So these questions are really hard. But if I had to trade for somebody, and I could trade, I would trade for somebody like an Acuna. But in a realistic world where we live in, I think the asking price for some of these pitchers is way above anybody. That's why you haven't seen Dylan Cease get traded, Victor. That's why you haven't seen Shane Bieber get traded or some of these other guys, because the asking price is too steep. Teams don't want to pay it because they haven't gone anywhere. It's not that they just haven't gone to the Orioles. They haven't gone anywhere. So anyway, that's just my opinion. It kind of answers his question. If I had to choose somebody to trade for and I could get them, I'd probably trade for somebody like an Acuna. He's just because he does everything. He hits for average. He hits for power. He steals bases. He's a good defensive player. He's a real difference maker, and he'll be a difference maker for years to come. As much as I like Shohei, with the Tommy John surgery now, he's very limited. I was stunned they paid $700 million for that guy. Stunned. So, Victor, I hope that answers your question. Again, guys, if you're looking to ask questions, please send them to camdenquestions@gmail.com. I will answer them with the mailbag next week. I'd love for you to send me a question. Orioles or something else. Ask me something hard. I'd love to answer it if I can. I did want to touch on one baseball news, and then we'll kind of wrap up the show, talk about some housekeeping stuff coming up for scheduling. But this week, Hader signed with the Houston. The closer, Hader, signed with Houston 5 years, $95 million. Good deal for him. No opt-outs and no club options. No club options, no opt-outs, and he got a full trade. He got a full no trade clause in there. So 5 years, $95 million for Hader, Josh Hader, who was originally drafted by the Orioles. Personally, I think that's way too much. 5 years, $95 million. That's a heck of a lot of money for a closer who is, he's good, but I mean, he's not great. And you just never know with closers. There's too many that are just going to be up and down. There are very few, if any, Mariano Rivera's out there that time and again every season are going to give you 40 saves and are going to be dominant. It just doesn't happen. I think that's way too much money for this guy. But then again, that's baseball in today's world. If you put Mookie on the O's right now, you'd be in the World Series. He's on the Dodgers, and the Dodgers didn't go to the World Series. That's the thing. Last year we had Shohei Ohtani with Mike Trout, and everybody thought that the Angels were going to be going to the World Series a lot. They haven't gone yet. One player does not a man make, or does he? He doesn't make a team. I know it's ridiculous. Yeah, he got 5 years, $95 million. He might be. I mean, I thought Andrew Miller was, first off, Andrew Miller was never really, he wasn't a closer with the Orioles. He was a setup man. He was the 7th and 8th inning guy to get us to the closer. He was perfect for what we needed. I think he's overrated, but that's just me. In the AL East, O's plus Mookie. Look, I think Mookie Betts is a very good player, but there's no one player that usually takes any team to the next level. Of course, Frank Robinson did it for the Orioles in '66. But anyway, it's very, very seldom. How many times do you see? I mean, look at the two teams that made it to the World Series this year. Texas and Arizona. They don't have that one superstar making $500, $600 million. Corey Seager's a good player, but he had complementary players around him that are really good players. Same thing with Arizona. Teams win championships. Very seldom do players carry teams all the way, especially in baseball, because there's ways around those players. You can pitch around them. You really can, especially in a short series. Just pitch around them. That's just my opinion. Yeah, and that's the other thing too. I mean, I don't know. I don't like the idea of any team. I see these teams do it all the time, and I'm not a big fan of it, where they pay these buku money for these major players, and then very seldom do they win. I don't know. It's not my thing. Yeah, that's the thing, Jeremy. That's my point is it doesn't, you pay all these guys all this money, and then you've got no money to go get complimentary players around them, good players around them. And you can't win like that. If the Dodgers do not make the World Series, then they have way underachieved. I agree. We'll see. Their pitching is okay. They got Tyler Glasnow, and he's fine, but we'll have to see. Right, and that's the other thing too. I mean, look at them, G. Wilson. Look at the Braves. They have Ronald Acuna on the team. They have Freddie Freeman on the team. They have other players on that team. Excuse me. They didn't make it. You got to play, and you got to play well, especially in the postseason. But one series doesn't make your career. I said that too. I think Jordan Montgomery's going to get paid this offseason because he had a great postseason last year. I think that's a big mistake by whoever does that. One postseason doesn't make your career, and it doesn't change who you are. It just means you had a good postseason. Is Jordan Montgomery going to come out and pitch lights out in the regular season? I don't think he will. I'm not paying him. That's just me. Well, they do. I mean, the small things do win in these series. We'll see. Anyway, all I'm saying is O's are better than the Angels, so the base isn't comparable. Better pitching and better rounded team, plus a bat and a good second baseman. Well, I agree. The O's are a better team because they're rounded. I think you're proving my point, Mike. That's what I'm getting at. They're better because of the fact they are a well-rounded team. But the Orioles ain't spending no money on anybody. They don't have that one guy bogging down the payroll. They don't have that. So that's why they are well-balanced. And it's because they didn't go out and spend that money on these ridiculous contracts that some of these other guys spent money on. It's crazy. I think Mike Trout, who hasn't really played, has he played even 150 games in the last 3 years? He's making like $30 million a year. That's almost the entire Orioles payroll. It's crazy. Well, that's true, too. Getting hot at the right time is true, too. But anyway, there you go, guys. That's Camden Chat for this week. Again, just a few scheduling things. Tomorrow starts my series on my top 25 Baltimore Orioles of all time. Tomorrow is number 25. Wednesday will be number 24. Every Tuesday and Wednesday, you'll get a new video until we get down to number 1. And, of course, every Thursday, we give another Hall of Fame profile. Be sure to check out those profiles as they come out. They've been so much fun to do. I've got 2 years worth of profiles already scheduled and ready to go on the site, on the channel. And I'm working on an intro for this Camden Chat and a few other things to make it a little bit more professional. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I love talking Orioles baseball. And then once we get into the season, we're going to have tons to talk about. But I hope you guys enjoyed tonight. I really enjoyed it. CamdenQuestions@gmail.com for the mailbag for next week. I hope you guys send me some questions. I'd love to have some stuff to answer. Other than that, we will be back next Monday night with another episode of Camden Chat. Until then, keep rooting for those O's. Spring training is right around the corner. We'll see you all next week. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye, gang. Have a great week.